No.
Sir, what is it?
I
The way
think
Patsy had cut the sausage, not the way you had cut the sausage, right?
you know the whole world can hear you, right? Because we're live.
Oh my God, for real.
Yeah,
Oh
we're live,
God.
Charles.
Yes, we are. Hello, everybody. We were just talking about chili, and let me tell you, I love chili, and I am a fancier of gumbo. And when you got the two looking alike, oh man, I'm in heaven for sure, for sure.
That was actually Portuguese soup,
Ham hock
and
and had ham
yeah,
hock.
ham hock, had sausage, had my
Whatever.
green beans from the garden, had my basil from the garden.
What kind
Uh,
of days are you growing? Italian? Is it Italian or just
it, it's the green one,
yeah?
the green one.
But the thing with the some basils get the clear, I mean the smooth, and the other one get the jagged one. Which one is it?
No, no,
Smooth.
smooth. This
Smooth.
bugger nice. It grows so nice too. It's like really, really.
Green one.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, it's hang on, I just checking on these comments real quick as we yeah, it's a smooth green leaf, beautiful. It's just growing so nice. So
Oh, perfect.
I guess could hear me because Terrence is laughing.
yeah, they can hear you. This mic is very sensitive.
Oh my
Even
God. Oh my
yeah,
God. Oh my God.
and they can still hear you.
Oh.
So yeah, it's but it was so delicious. And we had Patsy had made a big pot, and so it's all in Tupperware bowls in the fridge. You know, we figured we was gonna be eating Portuguese soup for several nights after the hurricane.
Yeah.
So, but no, no. Of course, hurricane came and went. Never like deal with the 14-day quarantine. So he decided to keep on trucking, and it's a good thing, man. I tell you, it's a really really good thing. I mean,
Oh,
you know, we were just so close from it being a bad thing. So, you know, I thank God that that it spared us. Really, really, really. So, how was your day, boss?
well, it was one of those days where well, first of all, let me say I am grateful that we were spared because number one, I wouldn't want to see anyone getting hurt, injured, property damage. Not especially now. You know, plenty of people are facing hard times with this pandemic. So to get hit with that would have been just totally devastating. So I thank the good Lord above that He spared us too. Uh, it was very very muggy, and then the wind started to pick up late afternoon, and so I did take a ride out to LA. And so as I was coming down from the lookout, looking towards Port Allen and out towards South Pond, that area, oh, plenty white caps, boy, plenty white caps. So you could tell. I mean, the wave action, it didn't seem high at all, but it's just that the white caps were just a lot. And over in Pacala's on the southwest shores, where I thought would have high surf, there was maybe one two guys, one two vehicles out there today. So it wasn't that much. Wasn't that much. But for the most part, um, we took a ride out to Kikaha, and it seemed like everybody just hunkered down, stayed at home. Uh, so that's pretty much how it looked.
People are asking about your big chair that
Yes.
you're. How's that? Is that a chair?
No, it's actually a screen that's used for backdrops, but that's when you get your camera up close. But it looks like a welcome, welcome to the inner sanctum of your mind. Looks like one of those, that you in one big egg, but the thing is comfortable. I just wanted to try something different.
Well, it's nice actually. I thought it was the boogie board that I saw you
Hmm.
at Pacala's with actually. I thought that was
Boogie
the
board.
boogie board.
Was it a boogie board or was it a kitchen door? I was on.
It's really. I need to get something like that. I need to get something like that. I need to get air conditioning in this house. That's what I need to get. It's hot. It's muggy. It's so still, almost like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Before we started to get some wind and some rain, but yeah, it's so hot. Just I just so thankful that we never get hit by that. I mean, I was watching the news tonight, and Texas got hit with a Category 1. Amazing damage, man. Amazing damage.
Was the
The
lower
hurricane
portion?
huh?
Was it the lower portion of Texas or in the middle of the state? Was the lower
In the
portion?
middle, yeah. I was in a lower portion because the hurricane crossed into Mexico too. They were saying
Was that
so.
Hurricane Hannah? Was
Hannah,
that was the same one from the other day. So the thing just was offshore spinning. The thing that wasn't
it
doing
must.
it.
It's just very slow moving,
Wow.
not like Douglas. Douglas was moving quick, 16 miles an hour, and again, that thing never weakened. It was incredible. Uh,
Yeah.
it was just not your normal hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
The news guy was checking all the records to see when was the last time that a hurricane came that close to Hawaii and not hit, and there is none. This is the first time, as
Mm-hmm.
far as he could tell. So
Right.
yeah, we were spared. We were spared. So today it's all Paul Hurricane. I feel for all those people that had to go out and hem all the plywood from their windows. I commend them for doing that because it is definitely the right thing to do. I didn't, but don't don't uh, don't put them all away yet because we're still so early in the season. All the way till November, man. That's a long time, and we expect to see a few more storms. So no, don't lock everything up. Put them away for a little while,
Yep.
but don't lock them up because I'm sure there'll be more coming. Hopefully we'll get spared again and again. We'll see.
Well, it's
Oh,
it, it it was a good response call. The word went out. People, for the most part, I would say the majority just went into reactionary mode and they did it quickly. There's a few stragglers at the tail end, but for the most part, I mean, I've seen in some emergencies, especially tsunamis, with people straggling, go get gas last minute, those kind of things. This one is everybody was prepared, just waited out, and because you could tell by the amount of low visibility at the emergency shelters, very very low. So everybody was prepared to shelter in place, and
that was the direction that was given at all levels, from the governor to each mayor, that stay home, shelter in place, or go with your friends or neighbors, or family or neighbors. They really didn't want anybody in the shelters
mhm,
because of COVID, and so the majority of the people that were in the shelters were the homeless and houseless community. Which I must say again, the county did a great job by getting the buses ready, getting them out there, picking up the homeless, houseless community and getting them to safe shelters. So, I commend the county for not forgetting those people because I had been getting a lot of questions about what's going to happen to them. And I had heard that they were having the discussions. And I know that the mayor wouldn't leave those families out and those people out in the elements. I mean, we all know that he wouldn't do that. So um, they knew the homeless, the houseless communities. They knew what was happening. They were informed, and they got it done, and everyone was safe and in the shelters. So and again, it's one thing good about Hawaii. We care about our people, everybody. No one gets left behind, and that's kind of was proven yesterday. So kudos to our county for that. But today it's
Tony.
right back. It's right back, man. Story of the day again. Back to COVID-19. More numbers again. 20 what? 29 more today.
23. I think it was 23.
23, and there's a lull again. We all know. We heard that the lull in the testing, lull in the lab results. Tomorrow the lab was closed yesterday, so tomorrow we'll just see stragglers from tests that may have been done prior, But wait till Wednesday. Today, today I'm assuming the labs continue. They fired up the equipment, and I think tomorrow and tomorrow we'll probably see a very low number, and then Wednesday, I Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's gonna be pretty bad, I think.
Well,
Um,
it begs to ask the question because there are some postings today, and I understand the fact that I saw it on. I want to say I saw it in the advertiser where now the state is asking for help by actually giving out the name of the two bars involved where the huge clusters were from, actually giving out the names of both bars and the dates and asking citizens if they were at that location to come forward. So that is a big departure from when we first started, and we were hemming and hawing about why can't, because you always use the example, well, when there's a shark attack, they tell you what beach the person got attacked. So why is it different than when there's a high infection rate? Why don't you release? And they said stuff like, well, they didn't want the business to get singled out, this and that. Well, we're beyond that. We're trying to stop this darn thing. So it has doesn't matter. We're trying to stop it, and this is for public safety. And so now for them to come out this way, I mean, it's critical of me saying that. I'm glad they're doing it because I'm pretty sure some useful information can come from the public. Can come from the public.
that's the only people that know.
Yep.
You won't get that from no one else. I mean, that's again, like you just mentioned, we have been talking about this from day one,
Yes.
and we were basically told that you cannot HIPAA violations. We cannot do that. We knew that wasn't true. We knew that unless you give up information that's going to identify a person with a medical condition, that's not a HIPAA violation. But we were constantly told that over and over and over, month after month after month. And remember, we talked about it when the city bus driver tested positive. We talked about it when all the county facilities, the city and county of Honolulu, the daycare or the child care or the summer school or whatever it was, quickly they put out the location. But for everybody else, they never did. For no one else, they did. And we were begging, talking, begging, saying, please, why don't you do that? Why don't you let us know if it happened? I just saw a new one came out, breaking news report a little while ago, or earlier today, about Foodland, a worker in Foodland in Oahu. So they shut down the store to disinfect. But now they're starting to do, Charlie, what we had suggested months ago. That, but is it too late? Is it too late? Yeah, that when was the first test result from those bars? It's been 11 days. Is it too late? And now, if we had the QR code app that South Korea offered us, that would have never been an issue. Everyone would have been identified. Again, the frustration is because it's not like we don't have models to follow. It's not that we don't have tools that's available and have been offered to us. But the egos, I think, of our administration, our state administration, is just too big, and they admit that maybe somebody else's way is better. And I think that is where we're going to run into trouble, and people are going to get sick. And why? Just put that stuff aside and do what is best. So today, no problem, right? Today, no problem. Hey, this bar and this bar. The question now, Charlie, is where did the virus come from? So now we're penalizing, somewhat penalizing the bar because that's where these people were at. But where did somebody had to have brought that virus there?
Yeah.
The
I
same
said it.
clusters,
I
the
said
same
it the other
clusters are
day.
showing up at funerals and at parties, and it's I don't like when the state gonna pick scapegoats. While I agree with what they're doing, you got to let the public know so they can go get checked. But it's not fair to the bar owners that you're going to basically blame them. You know, it's that's not that's what exactly why they told us they couldn't do it, and now they're doing it.
Well, there you hit the nail on the head. And again, this is my take on it, and I don't think they're doing it because, well, I may be speaking in a wrong sense. The contact tracers, I am wondering if they're doing their investigation over the phone by contacting the
They
infected.
are, they
Okay.
are.
Now here's where the problem lies. I said this a couple of nights ago when we had Dr. Miskovich on with us. I said wherever you have the cluster, that cluster will be really a point of meeting and transferring. That's it. And I guess this becomes as part of our police training. Why wouldn't you want a team to have the infected person come into an isolated area? Okay. One, grab video from those bars because that person is only giving names of persons that they know were there, nothing else. Put that put that video up, and the infected person and the investigator watch together and said, okay, where are you in relationship to what we're showing now? And let them point them out. Okay, that's you. Do you know this person? No. Have you ever seen that person before? No. Caption one tight group of that person. Now, what you may want to do is look at any other videos that you may have had from other cases and see if that person's photo or video is common in that other areas. That will start to point you in a direction of really the spreader at that point. Because what's the common denominator? You have one person that's been at a gym. You had one person that's been over here that had a spread. Now I get this person over here that's having a spread. I'm just saying it as an example. That's where I would start. Because even if the person doesn't know who we're talking about, put the video up, let the person watch so you can jog that person's memory. Because I'm pretty sure they're very limited on the information they gave and they got to work it that way. I said, now's the time. If all other things are not working, you got to think outside of the box. You have to. And as long as you stay within the guidelines of not hurting anybody's civil rights, because when a person is in a public area and videotapes are taken, there's no expectation of privacy as long as you don't use it in a negative sense. But if it's an investigative tool, why not? Why not? So my question is, are they doing that now? Who knows? Who
No, I
knows?
mean, if they were doing that, then they wouldn't be on the front page of the newspaper asking for help.
Yep.
I think that's the problem. One of the bar owners was saying, I forget the name of the bar, 808 something, but she was saying that she had a sign-in sheet. Everybody that came in got temperature scanned and signed in. That all their employees follow the rules, and that's a good thing.
Yep.
That's a good thing. But it's how do you contact those people? How do you contact those people that signed put a name on a sheet that may not even be a real name? And now the county and the state is concerned. Like, how many people were in that bar that went out? With bar hopping. You know what bar hopping is, Charlie? You never. I don't think you ever did that, but
Huh?
um, bar hopping. You ever did bar hopping before?
Well, believe it or not, one of my jobs after retirement, I was with the Honolulu Liquor Commission. And when you talk about bar hopping, I would see the same groupie because we have to inspect the bars, right? You see the same groupie go from one bar to another, all the way if it's 2 o'clock closing, all the way to 2 in the morning. So I think that's the bar hopping you're talking about, right?
No, I'm talking about the bar hopping where a bunch of guys would get together and they would start at one bar and then have a couple beers and then go to the next bar and the next one and the next one and the next one. So it's going to be hard to figure out how many people went elsewhere if you cannot reach out and find these people. That's why the state now is telling people, hey, if you were there, go get a test. If you were there, just go get a test, because the state is really, really concerned. See, because in the barroom setting, and you and I just know this, Charlie, whether it was from you working at as a liquor inspector or me as a patron, bars are not places you practice social distancing. You don't. You
That's where you
talk loud
congregate.
in the bars, right? You talk
Yep.
loud because of the music or whatever. Now, when you talk loud, what happens? What have we been told? Yeah, the spit go more far. Your mist goes more far. So the contamination, they think there's going to be seven more just from that one bar, and who knows how many more.
And
Now,
three-quarters of the patrons, when they're under the influence of an intoxicating liquor, they don't even realize they're spitting on you when they're talking to you. They don't.
they don't. That's just what
Don't.
happens. That's why you go to the bar. I
Yeah.
used to love going to the bar because when people spit, it's like amazing. It's a refreshing feeling when you get somebody spit on your face. People go to the bar to relax and enjoy and have a good time and get close to people and laugh and have a good time. Diane just said she saw on TV the requirements for contact tracers, GED or high school graduate. No, you need a college degree
That's for
and
example.
you need a background in some kind of medical background. Again, I totally disagree with that. I think that is not, the degree don't make you an investigator. It's to me, I think if you're gonna have people make routine phone calls, just that initial layer, I think it's fine to have people that are trained in what questions to ask. But once you have a hit, once you have someone that tested positive, that should be turned over to investigators, trained investigators. But again, they don't see that. They're not listening. I don't get it. Oh, we have all the nursing students. Nursing students not trained in investigation. So again, if you want to crack this nut, you gotta do some things differently.
Yes.
Charlie, why are bars even open? Why are gyms even open when we know that these are areas that are high risk, right? Remember when they first had the low risk, medium risk, high risk? Why are they even open if we're going through this pandemic, if our numbers are spiking, breaking records every day? Why are these high risk places even open?
What did we first say? We first said that if you're going to create social distancing, you take away the elements, right? You take away those elements that will cause you not to social distance, correct? And so,
Mhm.
therefore, when you have bars, you go to bars to congregate. You don't go to bars to say 6 feet away and remind yourself constantly, I have to remain 6 feet away after you had one, two, three, four, five, six drinks. It doesn't happen. And when you have individuals of the opposite sex, that social distancing becomes direct contact. Before that night is over, they're going to swap spit. I don't care what you say. And voila, that's the recipe of transmission of infections.
So the state's going to have to make some tough decisions in the next week. I'm suspecting in the next day or two.
Yep.
Schools, the Department of Education, the United States Department of Education, just came out about 5 minutes ago. I just saw the headline pop up on my phone. I was trying to go track down the article, but they're recommending to delay all openings in schools in places that are spiking. What is the government going to do now? This is the U.S. Department of Education, not the state. This is the federal. Are saying, hey, in states that are having some problems, please delay the opening of the schools. So now what's going to happen? Charlie, you might want to talk about Wednesday's show because I think that one is going to be
Yes.
right into the school issue. I'm going to try to find that article.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to tune in Wednesday. We had a group that was recommended to Mel and I, a group of actually formed on the island of Maui, a group of teachers, healthcare workers, doctors, community leaders, all heavily pushing and having um, credible info, and they were looking for help in trying to get the word out about postponing the opening of our schools. So anyway, they reached out. We did make contact, and we're gonna have six of them on Wednesday to talk. And what we wanted to do is get them in conjunction with the head of the HSTA, Corey Rosenlee, so it cannot dovetail, not all on the same show, but try to get them from the union's perspective and then from the professional teachers and everyone else associated with this large group to come on and give an insight of what they had located and w- what their main impetus is to get the message across. And so they're going to be on Wednesday night. So we hope you can join in. You had questions for them. We let them know that both Mel and I, we facilitate, we try to get their information out. But at the same token, if they start to get a little crazy, which I don't anticipate that happening, but if they do, it will be one of those nights that hello, hello, you're getting a weak signal, hello, 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 and you're gone because we want to keep it as civil as possible because we want, like how we bring on Dr. Kim, we want the facts to come out, okay? And if it's something that they feel strongly about, we want them to give us a reason why. So then you, the viewers out there, can judge for yourselves how certain individuals are thinking about this. And it might be in line with what you think as well. So I think it's going to be a very interesting night. Very interesting night.
Yeah, it. I just find it really hard. I'm hoping that by Wednesday night we'll have some guidance from the state Department of Education. He's gonna have to make a decision, one way or the other. Um, if he's going to delay the opening, then he's gonna have to make that information known so parents can plan.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just you know, I think it was too soon to open to begin with, but that
Yep.
was his decision based on the Board of Education, and we've heard all the speeches. We've heard, and we know the importance of getting kids back in school. We understand that. I mean, again, but we're in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of the worst part of the pandemic in our state, anyway. And just now is just not the time. You know, Caldwell again asking the governor to allow him to shut down the bars on Oahu. Why isn't that a statewide issue? I know people are going to say, "Mel, we no more cases here on Kauai. Why do we have to get punished?" Because it's a statewide issue. Because
Mhm.
it's a statewide issue. It took one person to infect the bars, one time, one night, one place. People are now calling out. Mayor Victorino is asking the governor to reinstate the inner island quarantine. And a lot of people are saying, why? Why? It's not, it's coming from the mainland. We don't know where it's coming from, but we know that Honolulu is a hotspot right now. And how do you protect the outer islands, the neighbor islands, if you don't have a quarantine? So, interesting days coming up. This next few days are going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And again, it's a tough call. I see here several people saying that the we're going to have them on Wednesday, and the Board of Education will meet on Thursday. So maybe that's the timing because we left it up to them when they wanted to meet, and they couldn't. We were hoping we can have them last week, but it was a little bit too early for them. So it may be a timing issue, but nevertheless, I think all of you that will be watching, you can make a pretty good assessment of what you're listening to, and as long as they're not really far out there, and I'm not saying that they are going to be there, but it's you make that call on that. But I think the Board of Education members themselves, they're going to have to make a tough decision because if by the consensus of the general public, they don't want schools to open, they cannot occupy that seat on the Board of Education to vote otherwise and say, no, we're going to open it because basically you are now taking a decision that should take into account many factors and you're actually implementing what you want to see happen. And I think that's going to be something hard for an individual member on that Board of Education to handle. So, and when you got other unions supporting HSTA, it even brings up greater, greater, it brings up greater matters. So I'm really looking forward to it. And we've told them that if we do run over on time, because normally the show is 1 hour, but if we do run over because interesting subjects are coming from it as far as arguments is concerned, I'm pretty sure, Mel, you feel the same way I do. As long as it's interesting, we're going to run past that 1 hour window because we want everything to be put on the table. That's the best thing to do, especially if the Board of Education is meeting the very next day. You're meeting the
Yeah,
very
I think the petition drive to the BOE has been amazing. I think very few people very few people have supported it. I think for the most part, people are saying it's too early, and it really is because of the spikes, the recent spikes.
right.
So I hope that they think about what they're doing and delaying the opening, and because we got a special guest that's going to be coming on, and he can share his manao. I think you'll all be surprised. I just saw him and asked him to come on because it's nothing like having some decision makers on the call. But we all care. We're concerned about our kids, but we got to be concerned about teachers too. A lot of our kids live with grandma, grandpa. I was raised by my grandparents for the most part. I spend most of my time with my grandparents. Uh, that's why the putty stick, the grandma never mess around, with the discipline. You got them, boy. Hanger,
The guava stick.
with a rice spoon, whatever was in arm's reach, uh, is
Mine
what
was
we
two
would.
by four, but mine was 2x4.
Yeah, because you're a lot bigger, Charles. The putty stick would not be enough. But how do we get back to where we need to be? How do we get to where we need to be when you get this menacing uh, virus that refuses to go away? When you get communities across the country that refuse to follow the rules, refuse to follow social distancing, and still grumbling about wearing a damn mask. I cannot wait for the state come down with the mandate that you gotta wear a mask. You know that Derek did pass that right now. If you're in a house with people that's not your family, you gotta wear a mask. I'm waiting for see. You know what's gonna happen though is because see, I know for you, Charlie, I've seen you outside numerous occasions. You always have your mask. I always wear my mask. I mean, it's a habit now. And I think most people are comfortable now with wearing that mask. So when you see the people out there that are complaining about it and saying it's a violation of their civil rights, it's just irritating the people that have become used to wearing the mask because we care about others, right? You remember the mask doesn't protect you, it protects others. So when you're not wearing a mask, that's telling me that you don't give a damn about others. And you only care about yourself. How hard is that? If you don't like wearing a mask, stay home. If you don't like wearing a mask, no go in a store. And if you're
You
working
know,
in a restaurant or a store, wear your doggone mask.
For me, again in 2012 when I had undergone my open heart surgery, from that point on, my whole resistance, I became more susceptible to more allergies. I mean, I was having these breakouts that just couldn't be explained, and I would get sick way more often than did prior to 2012, and that's no joke. Since putting on masks, since using N95, since scrubbing up every chance I get, I haven't even had a sniffle yet. Now, knock on wood. I mean, I don't like boxing myself, but as long as I continue to do the regimen that I'm doing now, I believe, me personally, it's helped me. I don't know about the rest of you, but it has helped me tremendously. And I love it because I'm not there sneezing all the time. I'm not there coughing all the time. Or you get that feeling, you get hard time swallowing in the morning. It's non-existent, and I'm just happy, and I'm gonna keep on doing it, man. I'm gonna keep
Well,
on
I
doing it.
think, like, I remember when I was going to Korea in the 80s and the 90s. What's up, Senator? Oh, he's connecting. He's connecting.
Oh no, you.
A lot of people wear masks up there. A lot of people. This is before pandemics and whatever. It was just they did that to prevent the spread of influenza.
Mhm.
And it works. Senator is connecting to audio, so that's a nice shirt, Senator. All
Yep, there he
right,
is,
there he is.
Senator
Senator,
Fevella.
Good evening, guys. Good evening. I'm glad you
how are
guys
you,
all
my
safe
man?
over there.
How are
Aloha,
you,
aloha.
man?
All right.
You just
Good to see
pabocha.
you safe over there, Afi Kawhi.
You just pabocha. You look like you just said pabocha.
Oh no, I just came back from one meeting. Just came
Oh,
back from a meeting. So
well,
I was
thank you.
listening to a very important topic going on here. So
Well,
yeah.
I've watched. I don't mean to laugh, but if you haven't watched yourself on Facebook Live, you wouldn't understand. I watch you and your passion, your knowledge, your intellect, Senator. I'm not just poke up your ass. I'm telling you the God's truth. I love it, man, and I was so happy to see you on because we are talking about something that's very near and dear to your heart, which is the schools.
Yes. Yes,
Opening.
110%.
Why don't you share your perspective to our viewers, sir?
Well, even more so now that the numbers is climbing outrageous and just blown out of proportion. My thing was to set everything back after Labor Day, but I was talking to some of the community and some of the administrators. They all feel the same way. They should just do an all line on first quarter, and just have an assessment after the first quarter. Get people out there saying, how dare me, encourage the BOE and the DOE to not to open up the schools and all that. But like I told everybody before, and I tell you guys the same thing, I get community members that was really, really sick in the beginning. Um, and the family reached out and we talked. And at that time, I'm not going to say his name. You guys already know who he is. He was working in a bar, very healthy guy, used to lift weights and work out all the time. And he was on a ventilator, ready to die. You know, if people think that is not serious and close to home, then I don't know what else to tell them. But we need to really take care not only of the teachers and the principals and everything. I have a 16-year-old daughter. Okay, God had blessed me. I'm very late in my years. I'm not a young guy, but God had blessed me with one daughter. And I am not going to gamble with her life thinking that other people know better. I don't care how much doctors sit on steps in Washington. They're not in Hawaii. They're in Washington, D.C. You can say whatever you like because you get ventilators in Washington. We get limited beds and limited ventilators. And people don't tell you the outcome after being on the ventilator. This person in my community lost over 40 pounds or more. Had to learn how to walk, everything, all over again, everything. Had to learn how to eat, how to speak, everything. People don't think you're just gonna get off the ventilator and you're gonna start running through the highways. That doesn't work. Why would we want to play? Hawaii already gets shortage. Look at you guys on the neighbor islands. You guys get hard time getting supplies, once a month supplies, and you don't even know what you guys actually will get. So when you sit there as a DOE superintendent saying everybody's okay, everybody's taking care, what is okay? What is taken care of? The neighbor islands, Kauai, you guys did a great job chiming in there on the meeting, and so did Maui. You know what I mean? Letting them know, Kona, Hawaii Island, because that's what I've been saying all along. It's easy for us to talk because we live on Oahu, and then Oahu schools don't even have the supplies. Lanakuli when chime in there, the rural areas, they don't want, and then the teachers don't like teach. Then they like take away the teachers' special ed money. I mean, we're going backwards, not forward. You know, I'm just really, really afraid that people are making decisions for our family and our kids. I cannot do that. I cannot.
Here is something that to also consider, Senator Fevella, and that is with the spikes that we've been having now.
Yes, sir.
That in and of itself, they haven't been able to get to the root of where the spread is coming from. That
Right.
tells you something that should our keiki get sick, it's going to be bad already. You know, if you can show me that you have an effective program that
Yes,
you
sir.
controlling this spread, then you can, you know, then the argument can be said, well, you know, they got it pretty under control, but it's not happening now.
Yeah.
It's not
That's
happening.
the sad
That-
part
and-
about this, right? They talk about this bubble. Oh,
Yeah.
you know, we'll keep the kids, you know, in a perfect world where kids go school and come home, yeah, and they're only surrounded by their classmates and whatnot. In a perfect world, bubble will work. But that's a dream. That word bubble is a dream. You know, our kids over here in Ever Beach, they catch the city bus to school. We have 3,200 students, 1,000 freshmen. How are you going to make that bubble? Oh, we're going to have some people cannot. We don't have enough to spread out. You know what I mean? So even with the elementary kids have to go back to school, and there is no at that time they were saying there was no homeschooling for them. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I really think they got to really, really, really look at it. Like you guys were saying earlier when I was watching, when you have that much people, they broke records now at the BOE meeting. If you have that much people is concerned of their kids and their family and the teachers and everyone going back to school's health, you better pay attention. Pay attention because things need to change. Because we work for them. We work for you guys. It's not the opposite way around. You guys letting us know your concern. Yeah. And we gotta address it at the highest means and the best ways that we can. Don't think that we know everything because we're the legislators or we're the DOE or the BOE. No. When somebody is afraid like that, and people is afraid, if you listen to some of these, especially Kauai guys, you know, had some teachers write to me and I listened to this. How can you not have compassion? The lady's pregnant. She has a kid's going to be going kindergarten, and she's an early education teacher. How are you going to give her a 3-4 whammy like that? Come on. I mean, you know, you guys are very blessed right now on the neighbor islands. The numbers are low. But why would we want to gamble with that? Why would we want to play? Isn't gambling in Hawaii illegal? Why would we want to play with our families' lives like that? That's all I'm saying, guys. We need to remember that. The Department of Health, all of a sudden, now he's wearing his mask and he coming to the meeting with his mask. Before, he never believed in a mask. He was saying that thing wasn't working. Now, all of a sudden, he's wearing his mask and then he like tell us about the bubble effect. Cannot. Too much kids going to be affecting everybody on the school buses. And look now, Food Land downtown in Honolulu, close up because somebody got tested positive. It's reaching from Ever Beach, where we're the hot zone. It's going all over the state now of Oahu. So how are we going to control that? We don't have enough tracers, right? We keep asking now. The Senate Special Committee, Senator Donovan De La Cruz, and the rest of the senators keep offering him to put in more and give him more people. He keeps saying he has enough. They cannot even trace the people we have now. Imagine we go back to school. You know?
Well,
It's sad,
Senator,
man.
about 20 minutes ago now, I saw the KHOA and I have their app. I saw the little alert came out that the U.S. Department of Education is recommending that school openings be delayed. That just came out 20 minutes ago. It's so fresh. I went back to the website, and the story isn't even up yet. But the headline came through. So I'm waiting to see the story. But the United States Department of Education now, because of what's going on in this country with this virus, is recommending that in areas that are having some issues, that the school year be delayed, the opening. Hopefully that will play on our governor and our Department of Education and Board of Education to make the right decision. But I have a lot of we all do. We all have a lot of school teacher friends. A lot of my classmates are school teachers.
Yes.
A lot of them are deadly afraid.
Yeah.
Um, people. I know. I see some comments up here asking, well, how many people on ventilators on Kauai? Uh,
What
See,
kind of
we
question
try
is
to
that?
prevent that. Yeah, we're trying to prevent that.
Yeah.
You know,
But
we
what is the reason you need to know how much people are ventilators? We try to prevent them from being ventilators. I don't
exactly.
care if
I
there
don't.
was 1 million ventilators in the state of Hawaii. I don't want one person on it. If we can prevent one person from being on, that's the kind of questions to me say, hey, how much rounds getting on 6 shooter? You know what I mean? How much rounds getting on shit shooter? Let's go play Russian roulette. I mean, come on. What kind of question is that? Asking how much people on Kauai is on ventilators? We want zero people on Kauai being on
And we
ventilators. You know what I
and we
mean?
want to keep it that way, Senator. We want to
Amen.
keep it that way.
That's right.
We have
That's
been
right.
blessed. We have
That's
been
right.
blessed. But let me tell
Yes.
you, you talk about the bartender.
Yeah.
You talk about the personal trainer. That's everybody know, Mr. Ma. He captures his journey. He broadcasts his journey every day. He's struggling. Charlie's brother died from COVID. He was one of the first deaths in COVID in New York City. Charlie, right there, that Hawaiian, right there. His brother
Yes, sir.
died,
Yes, sir. I remember.
and
Yes.
so you know, New York was the super hot zone.
Yep.
Right now, we got Arizona, we got Texas, we got Southern California, we got Utah,
Florida.
Florida, and in Hawaii. When you look at the charts, when you look at the graphs, we talked about this last night, Senator. The positive rate of testing is over 4%. 4% of the people that are being tested are coming back positive. So I don't really give a damn how many tests we gave or what our numbers look like. The bottom line is when our percentage of positives go across the 4% line, we're right up there with those states in the mainland that are blowing up.
Yes. Yep.
So why would we want to do anything
Yep.
that would endanger our kids, our teachers, staff members? We get civilian staff that works at the schools in all kinds of capacities.
Yep.
And every one of these kids and every one of these employees have families that they
Yep.
go home to.
Yep.
So
And you
it's
know
not like
already.
if we were in a flat tire, if we were at a
Yep.
0, 1, 2 cases a day, that'd be a different story. But we are at the highest we've ever been.
Yes.
The cases of the last month is more than we've had in the entire pandemic prior to this month.
Yes.
Now is not the time to open anything, really.
No, no, totally. And you know what the part that makes me upset is that they they're not understanding the impact. These custodians now, you got to understand now, we're already getting shortage of teachers, um, uh, substitutes, yeah, everything, right? So
Yeah.
ask them. We have a shortage in custodians too. And then when we use sub custodians, they're all, up in their age. They're not young, um, people. They're up in their age. They're seniors taking an extra job to make ends meet. So we're gonna subject these guys to go clean one school. They're gonna go home and take it to their grandchildren and get them sick. I mean, whether their grandkids are going to school or not, Nana and Tata gonna bring them home to the kids, guarantee. You know, that's why I don't understand why, as like you guys, great leaders over there. You guys, Mary's great. So on the neighbor island, you guys have very great mayors over there, doing a great job, and is they gotta come together as one. I mean, they have to come together as a government. A state has to, and this is what Senator Donovan De La Cruz said a lot. Why doesn't the state dictate everything down and then the counties follow? Why are we doing certain things in certain ways? I have no idea. Only the guys that work with the governor know. But I pray that they make a great decision and postpone them a lot more until we see these numbers drop. So I already made arrangements to homeschool. I already met some of my daughter's teachers. I'm going to be picking up some of the programs that she's going to be using. But I already told the principal, I talked to the principal, I said, I was only thinking about for a little while, but now I'm thinking she's going to stay out through the whole first quarter until we can find out the numbers going down or there is a cure or some kind of miracle that the numbers go back down.
Senator, it's always it's no hidden fact that because schools, teachers, they've struggled getting supplies, right? In all
Yes,
the
sir.
different schools. How is the state addressing the level of sanitation? One, two, the
Yep.
level of containment. We see some recommendation where they're putting up the plastic shields on each of the desks, and yet when the kids stand up, they still going they're still going to intermingle with the other kids.
Yeah.
And as the kids change from room to room, unless they stay in one class all day, I mean, back in our time, it was the bell ring, we go to another class. How will the school resources be stretched to the limit to say, hey, you're getting too close, you got to observe the social distancing? Because I don't think the young kids understand that, but they're gonna be
No.
drawn into that whole spectrum now.
Yeah.
So it's like one on top of the other. And you work at a school, correct?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
was Evan Mackay?
so what are they doing to address those things? Have they said anything to you folks?
No, 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 no. So that's where I used to work before I came. I came senator. I still on the list to go back and work at the schools, but I see some of the students. The problem is, guys. But I've been telling this all along to even the superintendent when she came to before us earlier. We wanted to know her plan. But you guys got to understand, each principal in the state of Hawaii have their own plan.
Mhm.
It's not a statewide plan. It's not across the board. I'm going to give you 100,000 masses, and this is what you got to do with them. There's nothing written by her. They gave every principal their own way of going through. So she looked what they got, and then she approves it. See, to me, and this is my personal feeling, if the stuff hit the fan, right? She's an scapegoat. She's gonna say, "Well, the principals came up with their own plan, right? Then she can
Mhm.
get away with this." But the governor should make her and the BOE come up with a statewide plan. This is how much protection you gotta have. This is how much equipment you have to have for your custodians, your teachers, your administration, else your school cannot open. You gotta have a minimum of these things. Where is the check and balances here? There is no check and balances. That's the problem. If the schools, like right now, I'll give you from Nanakuli to Waianae, the teachers just don't provide masses. These kids, some of the teachers provide food, other things for the kids because they don't have. You know what I mean? These are really teachers, special education teachers that go out there and they're over and beyond. And then now we're going to chastise them. We're going to lose special education teachers by the thousands because why? Now the BOE didn't make a stand that day, but had overwhelming testimony that they deserve that money. They was promised that money, and that money should be continued given to them because they deserve it. And then here we are backpedaling, telling them, "Oh, we're going to take away your money." What we should do is cut the superintendent down, take $10,000 a month from her to add into the pot of the shortfall of the special education teachers. You know what I mean? All of us should take a pay cut from the governor down. Take a pay cut. If we're so worried about not having so much stuff and we want to protect our teachers, take a pay cut. Us legislators first, us government officials first, before we're going to do furloughs or anything like that. I know not everybody going to agree with that, but these guys making decisions to take away money for special education teachers, then hey, the buck stop with you, superintendent. You guys don't approve the money. BOE would vote on them. Now you like take away their money? Well, go ahead then. You be the first one to give up some money. Give up some of that money you making. I mean, that's the thing right now. They don't have any checks and balances. And then we like send our kids to school, and the principals that is responsible for them don't want to open them. But they don't want to go against their boss. So they're not going to all come out publicly and say these things. But I'm gonna tell you right now, when you see them in the stores, when you go to a restaurant and you see them talking, they don't want, they don't want, they don't want the schools to open because they're not ready. You know.
But
And to me, if
we're
you give
hearing
the
it.
kids the time, yeah,
We're hearing it here, Senator. We hear it from a lot of the teachers, and you're right. They're not going to come out. They're going to do what they got to do. But I wanted to read this Summer Hollwegner. This is an observation, right? She's a mom. She has a student or students. She said the kids have been separated for too long. I would think that it'll be difficult for them to distance. That's one of the reasons I decided to keep my high schooler at home. See, she know real world. She's a real
yeah,
parent. She
yeah,
knows her kids.
yeah,
You keep these kids bottled up,
yeah.
and then you release them back to school where they're gonna see their friends that they haven't seen for months and months. It's
They're
gonna
gonna
be
have each
very
other.
hard. It's gonna be
They're gonna have
very
each
hard
other.
to keep them apart. It's
Yeah.
it's like the bars, right? No, we can open up the bars as long as you practice social distancing, as long as you wear your mask when you're not sucking them up, and we can do this. Okay, so we open them up, and now what? What is your mayor doing? Shut them down because what? The clusters, the
Oh,
clusters.
easy, bro, easy. It's not my meal. I
Well,
mean,
you're
yeah.
counting
Nah,
mayor.
nah, nah, nah,
You're
nah.
counting mayor. I know. I mean,
That's
he's
Honolulu's
now.
meal.
That's right. That's right. See, I say heat stroke of you. I don't want my fan today.
So you know the
Um,
bottom line is, I totally
no, but what
agree.
I,
If we
I
can do social distance inside right now, Shiros are open, yeah. So as soon as you go in there, you sign the paper, right? Then they do your temperature test, right? Then you go to your table. When you go to your table and you go for eat, you take off your mask, right? Same thing would be at the bars. You know, limit the stand up ones. But if you get booths in your bars, make people go into the booths. As soon as they're in their booth with their drink, let them drink. We're not talking about disco and dancing. We're just talking
Mhm.
about socializing. So to close the bars. I mean, come on, they close the churches. You know what I mean? We get Zoom churches because they close the churches. You know,
Yeah. That
I,
that was another whole. I couldn't understand that how they would allow the gatherings, but you couldn't go to church. That I mean, that's
yeah,
a whole different.
yeah. I
The
totally
thing is
just
this:
question.
what I hate to see is where you go and you open things up, only to have to close them back because the numbers start to spike,
Yeah,
and that is
but
a
if we
huge.
have a better plan, if we had a better plan, we had it. We had a plan, but we just had to have more people to monitor the plan. But when you don't have enough people and you don't ask for help and you think you don't need the help, that's when things get out of control because you don't have the monitoring. How are you gonna tell the kids with their bubble when right now they cannot even monitor what we have now? They cannot monitor what we have now. That's the reason why we don't even know where this cluster is, right? Before they could say, oh yeah, Waipahu, or this church here, whatever, they could find them. Now, so listen to the news. Our numbers going up, and there's no telling, where the cluster coming from, because the tracing, no enough people, and we gotta do our job. It's the only way we're gonna keep everybody afloat, and our island not gonna be able to. Our neighbor islands and Oahu not gonna be able to handle a total shutdown. More businesses are gonna go out of business. More people are gonna lose their jobs. We're gonna have more, financial stress that our family's gonna go through, and gonna have a little bit more domestic. And it's not easy. It's not easy.
And that's why it'll be so important for us to get a handle of this virus, and we
Yes.
gotta figure out how we gonna nip this thing before it gets out of control. You see, like you said, right? Right. Washington get plenty of ventilators. The mainland get ventilators. We get limited amount. And once we reach that point where the hospital beds are full and the numbers are rising, what we're gonna do, Senator? I mean, what will we do? It's not like you can put them on one medevac to get them to San Francisco or to California. That's the nearest overload hospital is on the mainland.
That's why I really get disturbed when people were speaking and saying, like earlier. Of course, we can never put the water back in a jug, but when we said to shut this place down 1 month tight, nobody in, nobody out, it took too long, too long, too long to do it. But again, to me, this is how I feel. I mean, I don't know how anybody else feels, but this is my personal thing. The Department of Health has a person that is the charge of the Department of Health who's not a doctor. So when we had Josh Green chiming in there to shut things down so that we can lessen the curve, he knew that we was going to have a spike later on, but not the kind that was going to hit the moon. You know what I mean? So to me, we got to have more physicians coming together and surround the governor, giving him this advice. Because these non-doctors and non-people out there, at first they wasn't going to do testing. Now the Department of Health come back, oh, we're going to do more testing, right? But didn't that's what the senators on the committee with Senator Kadani, Donna, all of us guys was telling them, you got to do more testing, you got to do it. So now they do all of these things. So I like what Senator Donovan De La Cruz did and his staff. They do a great job over there at the Capitol, putting things together for our meetings. But there's a list of stuff that I know that they're putting together from day one that we had put together to explain to the Department of Health and the governor how we was going to try to approach this. And they bit and cut and paste different things. You guys did it well. The neighbor islands did it well because you guys shut things down. That's why it didn't get out of control. But over here, we get one person telling you you can wear masks. The other person that's talking to us is from the Department of Health, don't want to wear a mask. And we all sitting there looking at him. And then later on, he comes back and telling us, oh, yeah, he did a little bit more research on a mask can help, blah, blah, blah. I mean, what the heck is that? What is that? You know, of course you're going to wear a mask now because we're almost in the hundreds cases already. But that's the thing that we need to put together. We cannot say, because I know we have a lot of politicians out there, career politicians that have been there way longer than I am, way longer than I am. And I'm not saying they all don't care, but sometimes they've been there so long, yeah, they cannot hear. They cannot hear correctly, you know, because they've been there so long. You know, I used to know one person that used to actually tell our community, you know, I've been there longer. I know better than you guys. When people start thinking like that, politicians, yeah, he's no longer no longer in office. But when he was in office, he actually told our community people that went out to him and said, "Hey, you know, why are you doing this? Or you know, we know better. I've been in office long enough. I know better." So when we have, and I say all of them do that because the guys I work with, they don't act that way. But I'm saying they had politicians before. That's their mentality, how they think. So that's the reason why those kind of guys should not be serving the people, because we serve the people. It's not the opposite way around. You guys pay our salary. We are blessed with this job because you guys put us in office. When we stop listening by the tens and hundreds of thousands, then you guys need to replace us with somebody who's going to listen to you guys and make a good decision. Not my decision, but our decision, that we all can live with the consequences that can come ahead. But that's the only way we're going to be able to work as a people of Hawaii. I can tell you right now, that's what we was. That's how we used to talk. Ho'oponopono with each other, get things done, right? Not because you Republican or Democrat, we're not going to talk. No, this is people dying, people getting sick. We put all that aside and do what's best for the people of our islands, for Hawaii. That's it. Not who's better, who came up with a better idea, not who's been in office more long. I know more than you, you don't know nothing. No, when it comes to this, nobody in the state of Hawaii ever been in a pandemic. So we all are learning. And how we learn? Talk to people, talk to more people, make sure we get everybody's consensus and we know we're going to make the right decision for our communities. And that's the best we can do as servants to the public. That's the best. Not be so strong-minded. I made this decision 3 years ago and we're opening up on August 4th. No, there's always room. There's always room for compromise. And that's hoping and praying that that happens.
Well, a lot of the decisions and timelines were set when the numbers were looking good for Hawaii.
Yeah.
We looked like we had a good handle on the virus. Everybody, even, I mean, Honolulu had some wonderful streaks of low numbers. Kauai got hit with a couple of clusters, just drove our averages out of whack. And then we dropped back down again. But this last series of cases changes the game. It changes the game for decision makers and for policymakers. And that is the part I'm struggling with, Senator. I know you guys, and I should have started off by saying thank you and your fellow committee members on the Senate COVID committee for working so hard. Charlie and I has been somewhat active watching that, and you guys have been very, very responsive and receptive, um, and obviously been on the show a couple of times. Your Facebook lives are very entertaining and to the point. And if you guys have not become friends with Senator Favela, it's Kurt Favela Eva Beach. I think that's the name of his Facebook page. And make sure you sign up for get his notifications when he go live because he does several of them. But my
And
point was that when we had made a lot of the decisions of dates and we had this game plan,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden the rules changed because people got complacent and the numbers started to jump. And now it's scary right now, Senator. You know this probably more than we do, but with the slowing down of testing, with the hurricane, this week is probably going to be a very bad week in numbers
Yeah.
as we continue. So my point is, when that happens, the rules have to change. We have to have new discussions, and the discussions need to be open ended. It cannot be
Yeah.
let's have a discussion for the sake of having a discussion, but the outcome not going to change. That I know you know this. That happens quite a bit in politics. We'll just
Yeah.
show the people that we're going to have this meeting, but it ain't going to change the outcome. Well, the rules have changed, and I can only hope that they
You
they
know,
adjust.
the best part of this, and what I really was um so overwhelmed in I was just so happy and sad at the same time when I seen how much the BOE said that there was record testimony, record a lot of records was being broken, yeah, and then at the end of the day, nobody took a vote. They didn't vote on the special ed money taking back, and then they said they got to make a special meeting for put this holding the school back on our agenda. I mean, those are the things that you're talking about. But I'll tell you this, going forward, I truly believe in my heart that everybody that lives here in Hawaii now is going to know their power. And their power is emails and testifying and being involved. I always stress that a lot. And this was a big, big part of being involved in the state process on what needs to be done. Everything should be done this way. Transparency, let everybody know how you feel. Let them know that this is not right and we're not for it and we want change. And it's the only way we gotta start empowering our people to go out there and make their voices heard. And they did it. And they was heard. And I know they're gonna make some kind of adjustment, but I don't know what the adjustment is. But now, like I said, um, they're gonna have this special meeting on the 30th or the 30th, I think, 29th, 30th. They'll have the special meeting on the 30th. I advise everybody to chime in again, send in their testimony, because I'm going to change mine now. Instead of saying pushing them back a few weeks, I'm going to say that I feel that we should sit out a whole first quarter. Kids shouldn't go back to after the first quarter to get really these numbers down. Really. That would be my personal input.
Okay, real quick. I just got this in straight. Misty just sent me, a good friend Misty, 7:36 tonight. Superintendent Christina Kishimoto has agreed to ask the members of the State Board of Education to delay the time frame in which students would return to Hawaii's public schools until August 17th. Just came out.
Okay, so the August 17th was a gentleman, I think, from your guys' island. I'm pretty sure he was a teacher that talked about the airflow and air quality. I don't remember his name, but I remember he giving the date of August 18, August 17. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he was from Kauai Island. And I think he was the one talking about the air quality in the classroom and those things. So I'm pretty sure that was the date I remembered was one gentleman that gave during the testimony because had numerous of testimonies. But I listened to some of these guys' testimonies, man. I mean, wow, wow. We serve a lot of great people out there, and we should be listening to them because they're well versed and well educated in the topic. And I'm glad that she's thinking about August 17. But when we revamp this whole thing and the numbers don't go down by that time, I really think that we should start thinking about at least a whole quarter of school, first quarter, and see if the numbers go down. But thank you guys for all what you guys do too. I mean, informing the communities and people out there because, like I said, if you guys wasn't on tonight, I wouldn't have hear about this special topic that we're talking about.
Well, I think what happened tonight was Kishimoto was actually watching. She has a false Facebook page that she comes on and she watches our show, and she heard your comments about her pay. I think she heard your comments, Senator, about taking away her pay and giving them to special ed. And she must have called her staff and said, hey, get out a press release right now. I'm agreeing to go to August 17. So thank you, Senator.
No, no, no.
It's all
Thank you,
your
guys.
fault, but
You know, we if we're gonna expect, if we're gonna hey, the buck stop with us guys, right? If we're gonna accept somebody to lessen their intake, then we gotta do the same, right? You know, not it should be well rounded, right? We're all in the same circle of family, right? Not
yes, we are.
one gonna get taken away and the other one not gonna have. But yeah, great stuff. Oh, that's great news. I mean, at least something we heard something about it tonight. That is great news. Great, very great news. Appreciate
Okay,
it.
Misty, our friend Misty from Malama Pono, pass that on to me straight via text message. Got them before the TV news. You heard it first right here, baby.
You know,
Charles, anything for the senator, man?
Well, Senator, as always, I know your passion is about bus stops, and I was watching you when you did the food drive and the bus stops with it. I mean, I know exactly what you were saying, and I commend you. I just said, but my thing has always been when I spoke from day one. When we started to look at these numbers, I started to get an inkling because the way the numbers are being rationalized when it's released, and those numbers are being fed to the public of the day the test comes back, but they're actually all drawn on one particular day. So if you have 500 tests drawn on a day, and out of that 500, 400 tested positive, whether we want to say it or not, you should just say we have 400 confirmed cases. But I understand the numbers are too big, so they just put out a little at a time, so it's more, it can be digested better. That's the way I looked at it.
yeah, you got it. Right.
I think for us to understand the numbers that we're playing with or how the state is handling, we need to be told the truth. If it's 500 and out of that 500, 400 tested positive, regardless of when you tell us, just tell us we had 400 from this particular testing date.
Yeah.
You'll be better to understand. So then everyone can understand like what they're doing today with these two bars is if anybody was in this area, please come forward and help us, right?
Yeah.
But when you say doing numbers like this, every day you get numbers coming up. If you're a viewer right now, you would think, man, this thing's happening all over the place. Where is it happening? You're not giving anybody any direction to understand where it's coming from. So that's why I think it's real important that they got to clamp them down, release it as such, so everybody understand, okay, we had 400 this day. It was in this particular area. Boom, that's on how to attack it. If you were in that area, maybe you come forward and said, you know what, I was in the area. I better go get tested. At least you're doing your part.
Right.
People start thinking that way. I think we can get a better handle on sending our kids back to school because then we're not going to be afraid. But right now, there's so many numbers coming up. There's that sense of fear. And I don't blame anybody.
No, you're totally right.
So
that's
I
why,
do want to say,
hopefully we have a meeting this week. We're supposed to have another meeting last week. meetings was postponed. So hopefully we're gonna have another meeting with the DOH and the DOE sometime this week, and we can bring that up. We'll definitely bring it up on when the numbers are being released. Is it being released all at once, or you guys are? That's a good one. That's a good question because you're right. You know, in the beginning part when they first was giving out the numbers, somebody tipped off. I think it was either Senator. I think it was Donna Makado Kim. I think somebody was saying that from the Department of Health, somebody within there was saying that they was playing with the numbers. You know, we couldn't prove it, but similar to what you're saying. I mean, we don't know factual if somebody was doing that. Like how you saying, instead of putting out 500, they say, oh, 20 cases today, and then tomorrow 18 cases, but that's all in the same batch. You're right. You could be right. You know, it could be in the same batch, but they're releasing it daily, so the numbers don't look high. You're right. I totally believe that that's probably what's happening, making people
See,
don't know where the cluster is.
the commonality of this whole thing is that the numbers were too close together. One day you get 25, the next day you get 30, it climbed to 40. Now you get the numbers between 50 and 70. Before
Yeah.
that, it was all between 20 and 35. And I said, gee, it's funny. Why is it's so particular, just those numbers?
Mhm.
I would get the numbers like one day 30, next day maybe 2. Then
Yeah.
it's always in that bunch. So then if you add up all those numbers and if I group this all together, that's 200 confirmed cases. We're all 200 tested the same day, and they all
Wow.
came in from one test site. So that
Yeah.
means that you had a pretty high positive hit.
Yeah.
So that becomes more alarming. So, but
That'd be a
Senator,
good question.
before we do anything else, and hope you can use that information, I just like to say, me personally, thank you so much. You're a typical local, and like what you said, we always tell people, hey, no vote, no grumble, right? But we gotta arm our politicians with the right information and hoping that the politicians will do what's right to help us. And like you said,
Mhm.
if they don't, then it's time for a change. And I'm glad you brought that up. And plenty of people agree as well. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Thank you for all you guys do too. You guys doing a great job out there. Thank you.
Brother
All right,
Mel?
my friend. Go get some rest. I know tomorrow's a new day. You guys get some busy. And I disappeared from the video because I say dehydrated. I said drinking my water. I go down the wrong pipe. Almost hemo guts over here. So I had to shut off the video. Oh man.
Uh,
And I started coughing. You guys gonna think I get COVID.
oh,
But
boy.
Senator, I respect you so much for you stand up for the people, whether it's in your community, working with your community and helping your community. Your work as a senator, a COVID committee, as well as your district representation. Always appreciate what you do, man. I appreciate what you say and the way you say it is straight from the heart. I think the people respect that and they love you for it. We just appreciate the spontaneous request. Hey, Senator, you want to come on? Okay. Appreciate you coming on. You definitely made it worthwhile, and wish you the best. Wish you the
Yeah,
best, and you stay safe up there. Stay
yeah,
safe,
you
man.
guys do stay safe. And just like I said, like for all the guys on my, that I'm part of their, Donovan De La Cruz and Senator Ron Kochi putting this special committee together. I'm blessed to be with them. I learn from them. We learn from each other. I tell you right now, it's an awesome experience to gain all of these knowledge with all of these different senators out there. So it's a testament of working together as we go forward for our people of Hawaii. I tell you right now, it's been a great 2 years. I pray that I get reelected this coming term, and I can go forward and continue to do my work, for my community and my state. And I thank you guys all out there, in Facebook land. You guys all do a great job for our community. Thank you guys.
Well, I got a real quick question. You up for election this one?
Yeah, this one I am. I was finishing the last person's 2-year term.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you
Yeah.
I thought you senators get 4-year term, but you
Yeah.
finishing up. Oh, so oh boy.
Yeah, yes. I ran it for re-election. I don't have a primary. I was blessed not to have a primary, but I do have a general election coming up. So yeah, God willing, I'll be back, and we can continue our great works, for the community.
I know for a fact that we have people from your district on the show tonight. So, and feel free to share this after tonight. We'll put them up YouTube, buddy. Use them, post them, whatever. I'll definitely share it with you.
Thank you.
We don't endorse nobody, but I can tell you if I was in your district, I would vote for you.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, guys.
And I mean that. Okay, my friend.
Take care.
You all have a good night. Everybody,
Aloha.
tomorrow night,
Be
7
safe.
o'clock. We'll be back, same place, same time. Stay healthy, stay safe. God bless. We love you guys.
Aloha.
Good night.